I was just telling Chris, Demm, and Dave, we're talking about betting and gambling, it's
Money's banking and such.
Banking. You just heard, I just did another DraftKings read.
Big news. Did you recut?
I recut.
I thought it sounded different.
The new one doesn't have the word big news at the beginning of it, but still, I hear other guys doing it on other stations like, they're much smoother.
Oh, our
They're much smoother.
Uber P1, John.
Yeah.
Send in the Kevin Hart version.
He's so much better. Oh, my God. He just killed it.
Big news.
He did it without overselling it, but at the same time, it was attention grab.
It was the perfect punch.
Yeah. He's like, hey, big news. You can order on DraftKings. And what did I do? Big news. Awful.
Do you like gambling? Do you like sports?
Terrible. I feel like DraftKings is going to do very well, except for one little pocket here. And they're like, what happened?
Yeah, that one county that Nikki Haley won.
Yeah, what happened?
How did we get our numbers up? What happened to our numbers here?
What happened to the numbers? Big news. Have you considered your spokesperson might be the wrong? No, we had no idea.
You like money? You like football?
Now our dear friend Diesel, and he's a friend and a pickleball partner to the end.
A fellow Jughead.
You know that. You've seen him on my Jughead. He's a Jughead.
He sure is.
Our pickleball team is sponsored by Jug Heads, which is a local watering hole over here, and it's been a terrific partnership. He was telling me on our drive to a recent pickleball tournament. Now, you'll know this. I've told you a few times how he doesn't care for technology when it comes to apps or, he's very set in his ways.
He is a face-to-face business. He wants to conduct business face-to-face.
Remember now, he's the guy that went to one of the wing restaurants.
Wingstop.
I mean, he saw the commercial watching football, and he's like, I'm going to go get some. Got up out of his chair and drove to Wingstop with $20 in his hand.
Wings, please.
Yes, and they said, you have to order through our app. And he goes, I'm standing here with a card and with cash. You must download our app and order through the app. And he said, I'm not going to do that. And they said, well, then you can't have any wings.
He got wing stopped.
Yeah, he did. And the woman said, you can go out in the parking lot, go into your car, download the app, order on the app, and then we'll process it for you. And he goes, I'm standing here with a $20 bill wanting 12 wings.
Just a guy. I'm hungry.
You won't sell it to me. She goes, I will not.
Is this not America anymore?
Right. So
everyone in the back is just like, here we go.
Here we go with this guy.
Get your phones.
Here's the latest thing. The latest thing is his daughter is getting into dance.
Okay.
Or is it gymnastics? One or the other where she's performing, and he's going to see these shows. And at one of them, it was a fundraiser for their group, and they had a 50-50 raffle. Now, you know what that is? I
don't think I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's buy a raffle ticket for $5. Okay. Let's say they sell $1,000 worth of raffle tickets.
Okay.
At the end, they draw one ticket out. The person who wins $500. The other half, the other $500, goes to the fundraiser.
Okay.
All right. Go call it a 50-50 raffle.
I won one time at a high school football game, and it was like my greatest teenage achievement.
There you are.
I won a couple $100 from the 50-50 raffle.
Nice.
So they're talking about the 50-50 raffle at his daughter's recital. And as they were explaining the rules, this is the beginning of the night, one of the parents behind Diesel said, well, I pledge, and I hope everyone would join me, that if I win this, I'm going to donate my 50% of this to the fund.
There's always one.
Oh, no.
And apparently some other parents were like, yes, yeah,
100%.
And Diesel just...
He hung his head.
There's always one, because that's what they want.
Hung his head.
They want you to donate it. That's what their hopes is.
Yeah.
But there is always one do-gooder in the group who announces it first.
Of course.
I shall pledge mine. I only bought to support.
That's right, yeah. It's like, well, and Diesel's thought was, well, I give a lot to this. I want my monies.
Mm-hmm. Do you know
if I win,
Did when Diesel told you the story, do you know how many figures were in the prize?
Well, later I learned that. I believe it was $600. So $300 went to the winner and $300 went to the fundraiser. And I know that because at the end of the night, now we're 2 hours later, Diesel wins.
Of course he wins.
So
what does he do?
Okay. The do-gooder says, and Diesel said, I thought about this for 2 hours. The do-gooder says, I hope you pledge that to the fundraiser. And Diesel turns and with a wink and a laugh says, Well, I'm sure they'll wind up getting it from me anyway. Ha, 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 ha. And I
Great
thought,
line.
that's a
That's
great
a good
line. That's a great line.
That's a good line.
And Diesel tucked his $300 right into his pocket and walked
Proud of him.
right out. I said, good for you.
Good night, everybody.
That's right.
I'm going to get wings.
That's right.
It's good to see the
Not
self.
with cash, you're
Not
not.
with cash, he's not.
No, sir.
Damn it.
Yeah,
It's good to see the selfish get one every now and
I
again.
thought so. It's like, good for you for winning and not bowing to the peer pressure to give that $300 that you earned back to whatever fund it was.
I hate to say it, but it reminds me of the time that somebody in your football pool dropped dead during the season.
Same thing. Same thing.
And you decided to donate somebody decided to donate all the proceeds
Yeah.
to like the cancer fund or something.
Somebody in the football pool dropped dead. All right. We had a football pool of 500 people that we had never really met. So somebody died, and it was terrible. And okay, it's terrible. It's terrible. For the record, it's terrible. So a person wrote to everybody an email. I pledged. It was a weekly football pool, and it was the first week of the season. And it's like if you won for the week, you won like $250, but for the year, it was like a $1,200 payout if you did best through the year. So the person said, I pledge, and I would hope anyone would pledge that if you win this week's winnings will go to the family of so-and-so who we support. And then, is email after email. Yes, here, hardy, yes, we'll do it. So Diesel emails me privately and says, you're not latching on to this thing, are you? I said, no, I'm not. I didn't say a word.
I didn't know him.
And then I didn't know him. And then someone else says, in fact, I think every week of every year of the whole year and the winnings at the end of the year should go to the fundraiser for this person. And again, hey, we'll play for free this year. Well, Diesel not only didn't participate, he wrote and said, let's let cooler heads prevail here.
We're all emotional right now over the loss of what's his name.
Look, I'd never met what's his name, but I think if what's his name was here, he'd say, play for the money, boys. Play for the money.
And frankly, if I had terminal cancer, I don't know if I'd be risking my money.
Right.
Time to bed.
I
might not see it pay out.
So Diesel says, and he led the charge on that. And of course, some others like myself said, yes, buddy who? I didn't really put it in writing, but we played for the year, and there was a payout.
And maybe if you'd like to send his widow his refund part.
Yeah. But that's
back to 20.
really about all we can do here. This is about money as well. There's a lawsuit that has been filed. I guess this could be a preview for our Lisa Lanier segment, Lawyer Up, on Friday. Santa Fe, New Mexico, there's a guy named Alden Hamdy. I'm convinced you'd dislike him if you saw him. He dresses in different costumes and is a TikTok performer and creator.
Is he entertaining?
Not that I've seen, no. In fact, for the news interview, which we have portions of, he dressed up with like a wig and held a fake baby. And it's like, what are you doing here? What are you doing, Alden? But what's caught the eye of the police in New Mexico is, for his day job, he works at a dry cleaner. And apparently some state trooper uniforms were being dry cleaned. And he put on a state trooper uniform and did some TikTok creations of his own. Some funny, although I didn't find it funny, little songs and stuff like that, to move the needle there. Well, they arrested him for impersonating an officer.
Oh.
Yeah.
But he never acted like a cop. He just made videos.
He didn't. And they had their own expert attorney. And I want Lisa Lanier to comment on that. I think she will on Friday. He said it's going to be hard to make that stick impersonating an officer because for that you'd have to say that a reasonable person would mistake this man for an actual police officer. It'd be like a stripper doing a little strip tease at a bachelorette party, dressing up like a cop. Now, he did have the official uniform on, but he also had a wig on and a hat and all that stuff. But now the development, the twist is, yes, he was arrested, but now they're countersuing.
The TikToker suing back.
The police department for an infringement on his civil rights. And this is the TikToker. And he says this whole thing was just for a laugh to start.
I just thought it was another video at the end of the day. I didn't think that anything was going to come of it. I thought it was something that, could get a good laugh, and not everyone was laughing at it.
No, the police sure weren't. They didn't find that very funny at all. His lawyer says it's squelching his free speech.
The fact of the matter is they didn't like Mr. Hamdy's joke. They didn't like his TikTok, and so they are seeking to punish him for his speech. We cannot allow that to happen.
So they're suing back. I don't think either one of them should win that. I mean, I guess you can't really be arrested for impersonating an officer, although he was.
Do we know if he lost his job? I would fire him.
Me too.
I mean, because he took the uniforms from the dry
That's the
cleaning.
thing.
Yeah,
That's
to
an old
me.
Seinfeld plot. You can't if you're a dry cleaner, you can't take the clothing.
I'll tell you, I'd almost get him with theft before I'd get him with impersonating an officer.
Now, he didn't steal it. He
put it
wore
back on the rack.
He wore it and put it back on the rack.
Still.
And then cleaned it. He wore it dirty and cleaned it. And so he says.
There's a dry cleaning code somewhere.
It got to be.
There has to be.
I'd fire
I
it.
hope so.
You can't just wear people's clothes in there.
Well, nobody's going to wear yours, Kelly.
I was getting ready to say, can you imagine if my shirts?
I don't think anything he's worn is dry cleanable.
Well, that may be true, too.
Wait a minute.
Oh, somebody left their donation back here by mistake.
This is supposed to go to the...
What is this, a championship Red Sox shirt?
this goes in the Salvation Band.
Well, I just wore some nice shirts on our two guys and Chris.
Well,
Conley
that's true, you
All-Star.
did.
And
And your
Those
mom
were wash
jeans.
and wear, though, yeah?
well, no, I take those to the dry cleaner sometimes. Now, I'm how many dry cleaning stops do I make each year? 4. I'd say about once every 3
Couple
months.
weddings, couple funerals.
Yeah. I'll take a suit in there every once in a while.
All right.
The guy says he's trying to clear the air and clear his name.
We're here to, at the end of the day, keep being able to keep creating, and we hope that everyone in New Mexico can create without any backlash, and we're just here to exercise our First Amendment right.
Oof. He's wrapping himself on the
Oh,
flag.
he is. And the lawyer.
First Amendment.
I think the lawyer gave him the whole, it's freedom of speech.
Yeah.
It's good lawyering.
That's good lawyering, but I don't think it's going to work.
I don't think it
He's
is
very
either.
Better Call Saul.
Completely. When you see this guy, they're in a strip mall. They're out there. The guys, the
Yes.
TikTokers all dressed up. The lawyer's in a cheap suit like I would have. And
where the
he's,
dry cleaners
It's
is.
First Amendment, this and that. Come on now. And you're right. There was no mention of, well, what about, you should be fired as a dry cleaner for working at a dry cleaning place and stealing the clothes.
But
Like that.
boy, if your TikTok angle is wearing different clothing,
Yes.
what a dream job.
yeah.
They
That's
come
where
in
you
all the
wanna be.
time.
True. I bet he's done it many, many times. The cops saw this and said, oh, no. You don't get. Now, you're really never supposed to wear a police officer's uniform if it's not yours. I mean, that is really against the rules. But I don't, at least according to their expert, it doesn't meet the grounds for impersonating an officer because a reasonable person would know this guy's just a chode,
Yeah.
not an officer.
Now, they might get him for, I don't know, theft, misdemeanor theft.
I don't know about his theft
Of a
because
uniform?
he wore it, but he put it right back. I'm not sure
Yeah.
what it is. I'm
How
not
did he
sure.
do that? Did he take it when it was dirty and
Yeah.
wear it, and then they dry cleaned it,
Yeah.
or did it get dry cleaned? He wore it. And
He
it,
says he wore it dirty. I don't
Put it back in the system.
That's
and
gross.
Put it back in. It's gross.
State trooper
put it
or
back in the
a
system.
cop been wearing that for at least a whole day
I wonder-
in New Mexico.
Do you think they send, if you're a police officer, a state trooper, are you in charge of your own uniform cleaning, or do they just put them, they all go at once, and you have the
I don't
same
know.
uniforms?
I think you've always been in charge of your own.
I think so, too.
And how many
Yeah.
uniforms would you have if you have to get each one dry cleaned?
And you're a state trooper.
I mean, you're probably on how many days a week? 4, 5?
I think you'd have 4.
Yeah,
I
I'm
thought
sure,
5
yeah.
uniforms.
Easy.
So
Maybe
you could roll
more.
through them. Yeah.
Plus, you got to have winter gear and
Yeah.
That's true. I never thought about that. This is a technical lawsuit as well. There are some YouTube. I had trouble wrapping my head around this because I don't really know YouTubers, but there's some YouTube music contractors who were unionizing and speaking in front of a city council meeting in Austin, Texas. You know about this?
I do.
It's
It's kind of blown up on the TikTok and other places. Some of the workers.
They want rights. They were forced to go back to an office, which messed them up, and they didn't want. There's some sort of a pay cut they didn't like, so they unionized. They're doing that. And right in the middle of an impassioned speech from one of their members about why they were unionizing in front of the Austin City Council, they were all laid off by YouTube. YouTube just basically fired them.
all of them.
All of them. And so while this guy's speaking, another YouTuber came up behind him and said, that's right.
There are less than 50 of us at YouTube Music, so to be supported by the city of Austin and also our allies in the labor community, give us the motivation to keep this fight
Not to
going.
interrupt, but they just laid us all off.
Oh,
Yeah, they just laid us all off.
we just all got
Our jobs are ended today, effective immediately.
Wow.
I'm sorry your time's expired, but we'll follow up on this. Thank you.
Meanwhile, you go hungry for a day or two.
Yeah.
What a terrible time for a bell.
oh, the buzzer.
What?
Sounds like we
Time
crossed
is
this.
up.
Thank God, I don't want to talk to these kids anymore.
Yeah, let's go back and talk about something else.
Yeah.
Get the next neighborhood crank up here.
Yeah.
Terrible timing. Ding! What?
All right.
I wasn't finished.
They just fired us all. What?
Yep.
Ding. Goodbye.
Talk about this nativity scene out here in front of the Baptist church.
My God.
Keep Austin weird and all that. Let's go.
Yeah, move them along. Boy.
It's kind
rough.
of interesting to read about the story, but basically, it seems I read one account that a lot of these people were hired during the pandemic to work from home.
Uh-huh.
And
By YouTube?
by YouTube to run, and then YouTube, of course, has a whole music.
Is that like a streaming service?
Yeah, I mean, I think they also I didn't read the in depth on what they do, but of course, YouTube has tons of music, videos, everything.
Of course.
So a lot of these people were working from home. Well, I guess in the last year, YouTube said, "We need you in an office. We have an office for you."
Right.
And I guess a lot of people said, "Well, we need an increase in pay." Because as one lady said, she's like, when you hear YouTube music, you think, oh, you're making a ton of money at a tech job. She said, actually, it works out to about $19 an hour. And like every other place in Austin or around the country, Austin's going up in prices. They said, all right, you want us back in? We need more money. Well, then they made the mistake of trying to unionize.
And they just fired
And
them.
YouTube just said, no.
Forget it,
You're not going to do that. And because she was complaining it was, also poor health insurance. And apparently when people were leaving the office, it got ugly. This woman claims that YouTube higher-ups got physical
Really?
with some of the people because they were, I guess, crying. And they were like, get out of the office, let's go. And started kind of pushing them.
Why wouldn't you think that YouTube would be the place if you wanted to work from home? I mean,
Chill. It's like a chill work environment.
I mean, doesn't it seem that Google and YouTube?
Well, this person said this was actually a good pandemic job for me. I didn't care as much about the pay because I wasn't spending gas. I wasn't traveling. Then I started having this commute to the office, so my costs went up. So we all said, well, now that we're all driving here, we want basically a cost of living raise. YouTube, I guess, said no. And they said, all right, we'll unionize. And YouTube really said no.
Yeah, they got rid of them.
I thought that was illegal. I thought you couldn't fire people or lay people off when they're trying to unionize.
I don't know the rules of unions.
But I don't. I'm not positive about that.
My father was always very anti-union. I know that.
He was.
He was very. They tried to unionize his workplace when he worked for the battery plant in the 80s, and he was like, vote no for
Vote down, vote the commies down.
That's Republican. We don't want unions. We don't like unions. That's right. Interesting though that they were let go like that, and I just would think. Now I'm all about working from work too. I don't like the work from home thing, but seems like YouTube and Google and that would embrace that, because it's all done.
Maybe they weren't.
That's what I was surprised to hear that they wanted, especially with a job like that, like a tech job, that they wanted them back in the office.
Maybe they weren't being productive enough at home.
That's what I was going to say. Unless I think a lot of companies are like, we can obviously keep an eye on you.
Yeah,
If
better.
I mean, what's their product? I mean, they're just streaming.
That's what yeah, exactly.
I
It's
know.
like, yeah, what
I
are
guess
they
they just
doing?
keep the stream working.
Yeah.
Maybe troubleshoot glitches.
I think for us, it's hard because I have friends who were like, I can't believe we're going back in the office. We never left.
Right.
So for me, it's still hard to wrap my I'm like, well, that's just going back to work.
Right.
But I guess we were rare in the fact that we did not work from home.
Apparently, 'cause-
And even in the radio industry.
Oh, I know.
So, because I don't have a problem. I'm like, oh, it's
I
work.
listen to those sports shows, and it used to be I told you yesterday, they're all from New York, and now they're, at their home, and they'll say, we're live from Connecticut. I'm like, really? What? But, I mean, they built them studios. They built them studios in their home, which, of course,
or if you purchase your own, I mean, you can have a home sound studio that sounds crystal clear.
They do a nice job. I mean, it sounds regular. We mentioned this yesterday when talking about sportscasters not going to events. They're like just staying at home and doing it. But YouTube, that was my thing. Is like, wouldn't that be the one where you're just creating from home? What do you need an office for? But what you said is probably right. They didn't think they were getting enough out of them.
Maybe so. They want to get that camaraderie back in the office.
I've always felt that you really get more out of people when they're in the office, but a lot of people disagree with me on that. They say, no, I work better from home. I, can get more done at home because there's fewer distractions and all that.
Maybe they're not hitting deadlines. There could be a whole number of reasons.
Yeah. But
plus,
anyway.
I mean, YouTube's taking a bit of a hit. I'm not trying to side with them, but they do have to pay for rent, or they have to pay for a building. They have to pay for all the facilities. I mean, it's cheaper for them to have people work at home.
Well, yeah, because they could get rid of those.
Yeah, you don't have to have lights and office
stuff.
chairs and
I
phones.
Most people I know a woman that always went to work, and got a job after the pandemic working from home. And she's like, I don't believe I'll be able to do this. Well, a year later, she's like, now it's great.
It's all you want to do.
It's all you want to do. I mean, now she just, goes right to her office, at home and goes into work like one day a week. She loves that. We stay right here.
Sure do. Front lines, what we are.
Front lines.
That's us, the nurses.
That's right.
Police.
Well, they don't give you a certificate from the governor for nothing.
Nope.
Pandemic time, I was allowed to be on the streets. Why?
That's right. We had that.
That's right.
That's
I
right.
think that's still in my glove box.
That letterhead.
Right here. Governor says I'm allowed to be out. That's right.
Just try to pull me over, officer.